Alright, let me tell you about the time I accidentally became part of a bachelorette party and ended up getting kicked out of a club I wasn't even supposed to be in. It's one of those stories that makes me laugh and cringe at the same time. It started on a Saturday night. My friend Kyle and I had planned to hit a few bars downtown, nothing crazy, just a couple drinks and maybe some late-night tacos. We were at our second stop of the night, this trendy rooftop bar that was way fancier than we were dressed for, but the view was worth it. While we were standing by the bar waiting for our drinks, I noticed a group of women nearby, all wearing matching pink sashes and tiaras. Classic bachelorette party vibes. The bride-to-be had a sparkly sash that said "Future Mrs. Taylor" and was holding a drink that looked more sugar than alcohol. They were laughing, taking selfies, and generally having a blast. Now, here's where I made my first mistake. I caught the bride's eye and smiled. Not in a creepy way, just a friendly, "Hey, you're having fun" kind of smile. But apparently that was all it took. She waved me over and shouted, You look fun. Come take a picture with us." I froze. I mean, what do you even say to that? Before I could figure it out, Kyle gave me a shove and said, "Go, man. Live a little." So, against my better judgment, I went over. The next thing I knew, I was holding one of those giant inflatable champagne bottles and posing for a picture with a bunch of women I'd never met. "You're such a good sport," one of them said, handing me a shot. I tried to politely decline, but they weren't having it. "It's for the bride," they insisted. So I took the shot. And that's how it started. They invited me to stay and celebrate with them, and since Kyle was busy chatting up someone at the bar, I figured, why not? It was harmless fun. They even gave me one of their extra sashes that said, "Team Bride." I thought it was hilarious. For the next hour, I was basically an honorary bridesmaid. We did tequila shots, danced to terrible pop songs, and played a game where the bride had to get strangers to sign her sash. At one point, I helped her convince a guy at the next table to sign it by pretending to be her overprotective brother. It worked, and she was dying laughing. Then came the second mistake, following them to the next bar. By this point, I was fully committed. The bride declared me her new favorite person, and the group insisted I come with them to a club down the street. Kyle texted me saying he'd meet up with me later, so I figured, why not? They were a fun group, and honestly, it felt kind of nice to be part of the chaos. We got to the club, and it was packed. The kind of place with deafening music, overpriced drinks, and a dance floor that was basically a mosh pit in disguise. The Bachelorette crew somehow managed to snag a table, and we all crammed in. The bride ordered a round of drinks for everyone, and I started to feel like maybe I was pushing my luck. After all, I didn't even know these people. That's when the maid of honor leaned over and asked, "So, how do you know Sarah?" "Sarah?" I asked, confused. "The bride," she said, giving me a weird look. "Oh, I panicked. My brain blinked, and I blurted out, "We went to college together." "Really?" she said, narrowing her eyes. Because she didn't go to college.
Crap.
I tried to laugh it off, but the maid of honor wasn't buying it. She leaned over to Sarah and whispered something in her ear. Sarah's eyes widened, and she turned to me. "Wait a second," she said. "Who are you?" At that moment, I realized I'd been caught. I'm just a guy who was at the bar," I admitted. "You invited me to take a picture, and then, well, here we are." The table went silent for a second, and I braced myself for them to yell at me or kick me out. But then Sarah burst out laughing. "Oh my God. You've just been hanging out with us this whole time? That's amazing." The rest of the group started laughing too, and for a second, I thought I was in the clear. But then the bouncer showed up. Apparently, someone had told him there was a random guy crashing the bachelorette party, and he wasn't thrilled about it. "All right, buddy, time to go," the bouncer said, grabbing my arm. Wait, it's fine," Sarah said, trying to vouch for me. But the bouncer wasn't having it. "Sorry, ladies," he said. "Rules are rules." So, I got escorted out of the club, still wearing the Team Bride sash. As I stood on the sidewalk, wondering how my night had gone so sideways, Kyle finally showed up. He took one look at me, burst out laughing, and said, "Dude, what the hell happened?" "Long story," I said, ripping off the sash. The next morning, I woke up to a notification on Instagram. Apparently, the bride had posted one of the group photos and tagged me with a caption, "To the random guy who made our night unforgettable, thank you." So, yeah, that's the story of how I accidentally joined a bachelorette party, became an honorary bridesmaid, and got kicked out of a club all in one night.